Hello, this is Avram Friedman reporting for Mountain Stream TV. On Friday, September 20th, 2019, the world changed a little bit for the better. Millions of people in 130 countries joined a student-led strike to demand strong action by world leaders to address the climate crisis. It was the largest climate demonstration in history, and we can expect this action to repeat itself, growing larger and ever more powerful each time, with more students and workers going on strike, joined by conscientious businesses who are closing their doors in support. The inspiration for this action came in 2018 when a 15-year-old Swedish student named Greta Thunberg decided she had to take personal responsibility by walking out of school, making up a picket sign, and standing in front of the Swedish Parliament building demanding action to stop climate change. The news media picked up on the activities of this amazingly articulate young woman, and she quickly became a spokesperson for the climate movement. Individuals and groups all over the world have taken a cue from Greta. The Sunrise Movement in America is a powerhouse of well-organized and determined young people who are promoting the Green New Deal through lobbying, demonstrating, and a whatever-it-takes attitude, including nonviolent civil disobedience when necessary. This group was instrumental in bringing people out for the climate strike all over America. The report you're watching documents the activities that took place on this day in Asheville, North Carolina. We'll cover this in two parts. This first part covers the activities that took place starting in the morning at 11 a.m., including the gathering at Vance Monument, the march to the outdoor amphitheater at City County Plaza, the speakers at this venue, and finally the dramatic die-in staged by an estimated 1,000 people who were participating. There's a separate video documentary for part 2 that covers the events that took place in the evening at Vance Monument, when even more people participated in a large rally from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. This includes all the speakers who rallied the crowd that evening. If you were not able to attend and participate on September 20th, this documentary will hopefully bring you up to date and give you a feel for the energy that is in the air surrounding our mutual global climate crisis. Perhaps it will inspire you to take action on your own or join in the next climate strike. Stay tuned.
All right. Can you all hear me out there? You look fabulous. Okay, so thank you all for participating. We're out here. We're going to have a few youth speakers share with us about why they're striking, and then we're going to give directions about the die-in. So just to give a recap of what to expect from here on out. My name is Ashley McDermott. I am the hub coordinator with Sunrise Movement Asheville. We are a local chapter of a national youth-led climate justice movement that's behind the Green New Deal and holding our elected officials accountable for implementing plans that will meet the urgency of the climate crisis. Thank you. We are here today also with Community Roots, a nonprofit here in town that we'll talk a little bit about later. They have a petition going around in the city of Asheville for registered city voters to have a true 100% renewable energy plan. We'll talk about this again later, but we want to make sure that if you're registered here or if you need to get registered here in the city that you sign the petition so you can vote on that and get that in action on the March 2020 ballot. All right, so let's hear it for the students. If you're a student, can I hear you? How about everybody who walked out of work and the parents and the teachers who support us? Awesome. Well, we are all here today. We are one of over 5,500 strikes happening all around the world today, right now, as part of the global climate strike. hundreds of countries happening all around the world. So y'all should be real proud of yourself for showing up. If you're taking pictures, we'd like for you to use the hashtag #StrikeWithUs. You can tag Sunrise Movement ADL on Facebook. You can tag Sunrise Asheville. The more that we put out there, the more that people who aren't here know what's going on. So hopefully when we have the next strike, because there are more coming, we can get more people involved.
Yeah.
And we are here today in the middle of this beautiful day because we're disrupting business as usual, because we are in a climate emergency. And we need our world leaders to know, we need our local leaders, our state leaders, our national leaders, all the leaders around the world that we expect plans that will meet the urgency of this crisis. And we have 11 years to undo the crisis, and that means we have to get to work right now, and we need to get on the same page about that commitment. Let's hear it for Skelly. We are striking in record numbers today, again, to let them know we don't have time to wait. We need a plan that meets the urgency of that crisis. That plan is a Green New Deal that will transition us away from fossil fuel dependence to renewable energy by 2030. That includes indigenous rights, the rights of nature, regenerative sustainable agriculture. This is a comprehensive climate action plan, and it's not just about putting solar panels on roofs. It's about completely addressing what our consumption process is. And that begins with all of you showing up here today. And by showing up in massive numbers, it's hard for us to be ignored, and history has told us that societal transformation happens when we show up in numbers and when we take to the streets and we say that we need a plan that's good enough and we're not going to wait. So, in the crowd today, there are people registering, doing voter registration. Super important. If you are able to vote in the March 2020 primary for the first time, we can't wait. We need to make sure that you're registered to vote. If you're not old enough to vote, you need to make sure everybody in your life is voting, because it's a super important responsibility. You can also, to make this super easy, the Global Climate Strike has come out with a tool. You can text the word climate to 38383, and you can register on your phone right now. 38383, text climate. Okay, so I just want to hand this over to some of our student speakers. We're going to start with Dean Mortas. These are some students. Give it up for Dean.
Great, hello everyone. A few things before I begin my speech is that we have the number for the resist bot. So text resist to 50409. It gives you activist opportunities near you if you want to plan one, if you want to attend one. Here is a wonderful resource to use. Second, we have our lovely government officials that we want to talk to. So we have Tom Tillis, we have Richard Burr, we have their apps, we have Mark Meadows and Pat McHenry. We have hashtags here. We want you to tag all of your posts about this with these hashtags.
Into the mic.
Is this better? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Alright. I want to ask you, why are you striking? Why are you joining tens of thousands and maybe millions of youth from across the world and protesting?
For change.
You're skipping because you care. It's because we can no longer stand here and let others decide our future. When I was 14, I searched all around me for a leader to stand up for what is right. I didn't find one. I realized that I must look for a leader, and if I can't find one, I must become one myself. around us, and nothing is being done. We must act accordingly. It is not enough to repost memes or information on social media. It is not enough to rant to our like-minded friends. It is not even enough to be loud or angry or scared. That accomplishes nothing. And that is why we are here right now, because action is required. At the last climate strike, there was 1.4 million youth worldwide. I'm going to wait a minute. At the last climate strike, there were 1.4 million youth worldwide with the same urgency, the same ideas we have. Today, there will be more. If we take action, if we fill our voices with power, we can make a difference right now. You don't need a degree or a diploma to become a leader. When you see injustice, you must stand up. That's right. Greta Thunberg was a normal high school student in Sweden. She is now the face of the climate movement. She is 16 years old, the same age as many of us. I'm only 17 myself. We prove that age is not a factor. If anything, our age is an advantage. In number, those in power will have to hear us. We are the ones who inherit this planet from those in power. But this is only the start. Because no matter how much we do, how much we change, it will not make a difference unless politicians change. How dare they think that we're going to sit by while they screw us and our future over? We can go vegan, we can ride bikes everywhere, we can change our personal lives, but it will not matter unless we can get politicians and big corporates to change. Only 100 corporations have been the source of more than 70% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions since 1988.
Shameful!
Let these corporations hear our voice. They will soon understand that our dollar is their future. Our political leaders are not doing what we need them to do. Our government has failed us. Let our government hear our voice. They will soon understand that our votes will be their future. At this point, inaction is a crime. We need immediate change, and we have demands that must be met. We demand a declaration of climate emergency. We demand a Green New Deal, which will give us 100% renewable energy by 2030. We demand that biodiversity be restored and protected. That indigenous people and lands will be respected. That we implement sustainable agriculture. That we pursue environmental justice by advocating for communities on the front lines of poverty and pollution. These demands must be met through any means necessary. You are here for your future, for the future of your children and grandchildren, because this affects not only you, but generations to come. So I ask you again, why are you striking? And what are you going to do now?
All right, let's give one more hand to Dean.
in 11 years, I will only be 27. If we don't change the way that we are addressing climate change, then I won't have a world to grow old in. This is an emergency. Remember in middle school when everything feels like it's the end of the world? If a child was born today, in 11 years they would just be starting middle school, and it could be the end of the world. In order to save my children's future, we have to cut carbon emissions by 50% in this decade. My generation was born burdened with a problem that we didn't create. We are already doing everything that we can to fix the problems of the generations that came before. This is an emergency. Asheville, this is an emergency. We like to think of ourselves as an environmentally friendly city, but our city is not taking this crisis seriously. Asheville's current plan to cut CO2 emission only accounts for 1% of our city's energy, and it's just not going to cut it. This is an emergency. We aren't Gen Z, we need to be Gen Zero. Zero waste, zero emissions, zero tolerance for inaction. We are Gen Zero, Gen Z, the last letter in the alphabet. But this shouldn't mean that we are the last generation to live happily on this planet. Why should we go to school and learn when our political leaders ignore the science? Why should we care about the economy when our future is in jeopardy? Why should we vote for a candidate who refuses to address the elephant in the room? Who refuses to support laws and reforms that make real change? Who refuses to acknowledge the need for a radical shift in politics? We are Gen Zero, and this is our emergency.
Give it up for Kaya. Next up we have Clay Swan Davis from Asheville High School.
Thank you all for being here. Asheville High students walked out this morning to demand a future, and we're doing it right here again. Where's Asheville High at? Seeing everyone here makes me so proud, being so loud. It makes me ecstatic. I was almost so happy that I forgot why we're truly here. Why millions are striking across the world in over 150 countries. If you get that huge of a turnout, you know the issue's big. But climate change isn't big, it's massive, and it's portrayed in all the wrong ways, and it's become something that we feel deep in our stomach, and it's stressful and gross. As a student, I can say that when things get stressful and gross, I resort to procrastination. In 11 years, a doom and gloom date will come and poof. But that's 11 years, right? So we're good. Wrong. Yes, climate change is massively overwhelming, but the ideas and inventions are absolutely awesome. We can potentially make a profit off of this, but we need to take action before it is too late. We can't wait for people to change their mindsets. We can't stall until our government takes action, and we cannot wait for really cool inventions. We simply cannot afford it. But with persistent and honest change, anything is possible. Persistency. If millions of students skip school, the government notices. Large corporations notice. If companies are switching their goals to be eco-friendly, they notice. When we protest on the steps of City Hall and our government does not take action, they notice. We are persistent, and we always will be until the very second before that doom and gloom moment. Except if we keep on protesting and changing policies, there won't be a doom and gloom day. Honesty. We've got to be transparent with what's really happening to our earth. Don't sugarcoat it, don't avoid it, don't hide it from your kids. Talk about it and the facts and the stories that you know. The most beneficial thing you can do for yourself is accept the truth and act on it. Yeah. Yes. Yes, climate change is terrifying, especially when you feel so small. You are not as small as you think you are, though. We have the tools and we need to solve it. It is right in front of us. We can do this. I mean, we have got to do this. This is not an option. Thank you. Thank you, Asheville High, especially Dr. Dingle for working with us to organize the walkout this afternoon. Asheville City Schools, you guys are fantastic, and thank you for truly being dedicated to making a change. Let's give it up for Clay.
Next up, I want to invite fellow activist, hemp farmer, passionate young woman, Taylor Breeden, to share a poem and a little bit from her perspective.
Hey y'all. Are y'all inspired by the youth today? Let me hear you guys. Are you inspired? This is so inspiring to me. It actually almost makes me want to cry because this is exciting because you guys are going to be the future, and the fact that you guys care is going to make all the difference. And I think right now we're in this moment in America that we don't feel like we have a big voice. We feel like there's so much money in politics that there's not a whole lot we can do, but ultimately we want the shift. We feel the shift, but it's because we are the shift. And we're not going to stop. And things we can do on our own, we can plant gardens, we can learn to grow our own food. But what we can ultimately do is spend our money with companies that are actually pushing for a greener future. We must starve out these big companies that are creating policy, because when we aren't giving them our money because of it, they will change. But it's going to take our money that's going to make them change. So that's what we're going to do. So this is a poem a little bit about what we've been experiencing in America. The fog hung onto the edges. The sun danced along its peaks, searching for the answers to the questions no one speaks. We already knew it was within us. The mountains know it's what we seek, to be present in our hour, to strengthen what is weak, to contemplate resistance while we sit above the creek. The fog lifted in our daylight. And further, we could see that not only should we search to know, but we should search to teach that the forests are for healing wounds, the ones that no one sees, that the rivers are for peace of mind, that's why we keep them clean. But the trees hurt when the tables turned. Hate spread like a disease, but the moon will change her current as a deterrent. She hears the cries of the seas. A new wave is coming, and we're not saying please. We will reject what is selfish. We must vote out the greedy hearts, because all man has reason. But it is now we must start to fight for our soil. Not just the part that feeds us, but the land that feeds the heart. Guard the water that is within us, beneath us and above, because our earth will not survive if we don't protect what we love. Thank you, guys.
Give it up for Kaylin. Let's give it up for all of our speakers. we are here today and we are gathering all around the world because we want our leaders on every level of government to know that this is a climate emergency. We want them to declare a climate emergency, and we want a resolution to pass and a plan that will come that will meet the urgency of that crisis. We have asked the city to pass a climate emergency resolution, which would have a true 100% renewable energy plan. And we have started that process, and we want to keep you all aware and informed so that hopefully we can get on the same page. And we're doing this because when we talk about a Green New Deal, we might hear it on a national level, but this really starts with laying local groundwork. How our fully equitable, functional transportation, sustainable food gardens, regenerative soil and agriculture, green infrastructure. We're changing how we function as a city, and I think that we can definitely do that in Asheville because that's what we want here, right? That plan is going to take a lot of work, and that's why we hope to get on the same page about our commitment so that we can bring people to the table and form that plan so that we can get to work and do this within the 11-year timeline that we have left. So I want to invite Amy Cantrum, my dear friend from beloved Asheville. Let's give it up for beloved Asheville. We're going to talk a little bit about the die-in and set up and walk you through it, and then we'll get going.
Hey everybody! Let me hear you! Are we here to shake the ground? Let me hear you shake the ground! Shake the ground! Shake the ground! I have a friend that says politicians blow like the wind. You ever heard that? So we're going to change the wind. We're going to change the wind. We're going to change the wind. Y'all say it. We're going to change the wind. 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 Yes. We got wind power. We got solar power. And we got people power, right? Now I want to tell you that my generation has failed. And the generations before mine. And we need to confess to you that we have failed you. And we're going to back you up. In our failure, we're going to back you up because we believe you're the ones. People say youth of the future, and I say no. Youth of the now. Youth of the now. So with that, I want to center you today. So if you walked out of school today, I want you to come up right here. Or if you're under 25 and you're here, I want you to come right here. You can take the steps. We want to see you. This is the now, everybody. If you're here with the press, this is the now. If you're an elected official, this is the now. If you're future. I was talking to a youth today who said I had dreamed about being a mother since I was very young. She's not even broken 20 yet, and she's terrified that she will not be able to live her dream. What people for millennia have dreamed of, creating a family and bringing children into the world and giving them a future. Shame on us. Shame on us that we have done this to you. And we will do everything in our power to stop it. So I stand with the youth today. Now some of y'all know that I'm a faith leader undercover. And so I'm going to practice something I want you to practice with me today. First of all, I want to say that the Generation Z, that we set you up to fail. We set you up to fail with this white supremacist capitalist system. We believe in the power of community and sharing, and I believe that you and this generation are going to turn the alphabet upside down. You're going to become the genesis of this community and this world. You're the genesis. So we have 11 years. We have 11 years. So we want to get this right. So today we're going to enact something. We're going to enact a ritual, because if we all die in 11 years, there's not going to be a funeral. So today we're going to hold a public funeral. And we're going to have a die-in, because we can't wait. So today I'm going to ask you to spread out. So youth, I'm going to ask you to come down and to take the center right here. And we're going to show them what it's going to look like if we don't change our ways. So youth, I want you to spread out right in the front. And we're going to hold a die-in. So when we give everybody the cue, we're going to simulate what it will look like if we don't change our ways. And the very first thing that we need to do, is everybody ready? Is everybody ready? There's a friend out here and she's carrying a tombstone. I see you. Their marks for death if we don't change. And so this is a funeral. This is a funeral that we will not have, because there's no planet B. We're going to have a funeral today to wake some people up. So we're going to have a die-in right here. And so when we give you the cue, and I'm going to hold my hand this way, and I'm going to start moving it this way, and I'm going to ask you to die, to lay down on the ground. And you're going to do that for 11 minutes to simulate the 11 years that we have. Everybody, this is serious. I need you to be serious in this hour. I need you to focus. I need us to hold discipline. So we're going to lay down and we're going to simulate the 11 years by holding 11 minutes. We're going to ring every minute. 11 minutes is going to seem like forever. And so I want you to ponder the forever that can happen if we go into extinction, if we allow our planet to die. And I want you to make commitments during those 11 minutes. I want you to ask yourself hard questions about what you're willing to do to keep this planet alive, to bring hope back, to give a future. And I'm going to ask the people beyond Splashville to do something very important for us. Because we can't act as if people aren't dying right now. People in Puerto Rico, people in the Bahamas, people in the Amazon, indigenous people here, people of color here, poor people here, they're already dying. So if you are beyond Splashville, I want you to die right now for them. I want you and your bodies to embody what's happening to people right now. Even people in our community who are being threatened with death. Did you know we have homeless people that live by the rivers, and the rivers flood in hurricanes and floods and threaten their lives? So we know that there's already people who have died because of this. We can't wait. Let's hold a moment of silence for them, for the polar bears, for all species that are already dead or dying. Thank you. Now we're going to begin the die-in. There's going to be some of these awesome youth leaders who are going to come around and trace your bodies so that we will leave our mark, so that people that come after us will see what's happening and know what's happening. This is the funeral for the planet if we do not change. This is the funeral for the planet if we do not change. This is the funeral for the planet if we do not change. The die-in begins now. I need to see your bodies dropping. The die-in begins now. And I need you to hold 11 minutes of silence for the dead. Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust.
Twenty 2020, that's 11 years. 2030, I mean to say, 2030.
Everything is burning.
So, thank you, Amy, for leading us in that. Thank you, Dave, for the countdown. Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Cool.
I didn't die.
So I just want to open up this space a little bit because this was a really powerful demonstration. Does anybody want to share anything? How that make you feel? You can just shout it out. You're scared. Covered in sweat.
So proud of everyone who showed up today.
Proud of everyone who showed up today. Anybody else? Empowered. Excited. Cool. Well, I just want to bring it all back in. I think what's really humbling about this for me is just every day I think about the climate crisis and how scared I am, but I am motivated and empowered by everybody that shows up here, all over the world. 5,500 strikes, y'all. And we can do this. We just need our leaders to take action. We need to change our daily habits. And we need to stay aware and we need to vote. So I just wanted to call up Sarah, my friend Sarah Benoit from Community Roots. Let's give it up for Community Roots. And talk a little bit about what's going on in the city right now and what the petition is advocating for and how we can make change as soon as next year in the city of Asheville.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. First, I just want to echo what's already been said, which is thank you to all of you who are under 18 showing up here today, because I know my generation and other generations, we have completely screwed it up, and we deserve to be ashamed of ourselves with what we've left you with. So I'm so grateful to be here with you. If you vote in the city of Asheville, I have a clipboard where you can sign to support the Climate Bill of Rights. That is our movement to ask the city of Asheville to focus on getting us to 100% renewable by 2030, no later. So, if you can vote, sign the petition. We want the Climate Bill of Rights on our ballot for next year. If you don't vote yet, tell your parents, tell their friends to support the Climate Bill of Rights and to sign it and then vote for it next year. There's 3 things we want to see happen in Asheville. 100% renewable by 2030. We want to see an end to the Duke monopoly monopoly on energy. We will no longer accept their terrible behavior and the treatment of North Carolina citizens. And third, we want to stand up as a city for the rights of nature. Our water has the right to be clean. Our air has the right to be breathable. Our forests have the right to exist without being exploited, and all of us, especially the indigenous people, have the right to live on their land safely without government and corporate intervention. So please, if you see a clipboard and you're over 18 and you vote in Asheville, sign the Climate Bill of Rights. If you want more information, find me and talk to me. Go to our website, cmroots.com. And thank you guys so much for being so amazing and coming out today.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, we're going to wrap up. There's a rally at 5:30 today at Vance Monument, but all the youth, everybody under 25, let's get you all back up here one more time just to close this out. We need a Green New Deal. It's hot. It's real. We need a Green New Deal. It's hot. It's real. We need a Green New Deal. It's hot.